live, everybody. Hello. I hope you are doing very well. Hopefully you are thawed out. We got a lot of rain. Not rain, I mean snow. We didn't get any rain. We got a lot of snow. A little sleet. And if you follow me on social media, Razorback, RAYZORBACK, you saw just how much fun we were having in the snow. It's tradition. Snow's a big deal here because we don't get it very often. So when we do get it, there's a whole bunch of stuff that pops up, parties mainly. But this is episode 347 of This Week in Real Estate that I'm still doing, even though I could be outside sledding. I'm still here. And we got a lot to talk about today. Rocket companies getting sued. We've got, I've got some news from NAR and an email they sent me after what we covered yesterday or last week. Y'all remember that big report? They sent me an email after that. So we'll talk about what that email is. And if you're joining us live, we are broadcasting on YouTube. You can comment. I can display your comment, just like Julie Moon, who said first. She was first living in Columbia, South Carolina. I was just sitting there watching her. I was like, oh, hey, I'm able to be on live. So welcome, everyone. Matt's over there. Thank you guys for joining us. We're also broadcasting on Clubhouse. You can add your voice to the podcast just by saying hi. You can come up, raise your hand. If you have a bio and you look legit, the moderators will accept your hand raise and you can add your voice to the podcast. Remember, whatever you say, though, stays. So don't say anything you'd regret. You can also comment on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Kick, Twitch. We're on all the platforms. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. And I also wanted to address something. Oh, look at that. Matt said, I'd like to think that us passing a referral all week is why we're here. But I know you love T-Wire Pod.
Yeah, Julie specifically, because her and I have been literally, I feel like, every day talking about this referral. That, by the way, isn't even in her area after all of that. So, yeah. My bad, Julie. My bad.
Julie says you've been on her brain all week. Oh, what's up, Nick? She says, what up, sir? I guess, Nick, you're in Nashville, so you're probably not doing anything today either. I watched the Vanderbilt game yesterday, and they were talking a lot about the weather on that. So got a lot of fun Nashville friends that were chiming in. Okay. First, I want to address a couple of things. Linda, who was in the comment section last time, said, I can't even listen to the show anymore because the background music. So Linda, I hate to say it, but I like it.
I like it too, Linda. It's not too loud. It's not too soft.
I asked Linda, I said, Linda, where you been? Because we've been doing this for a long time now. I put it on 11 to 13 is the volume. So it's just kind of in the background. You don't really notice it fully. And she says because she has ADHD, she can't stand it because it makes her lose the focus. But from what I have heard, this type of music helps those with ADHD, and is why a lot of people watch streamers that have music quietly playing in the background. Some of the most popular streamers in the entire world have music quietly playing in the background to help those with ADHD. So,
Linda, I'm not trying to put you on blast, but when you go to get a massage, is there music on?
Yeah.
Because I cannot imagine being in a perfectly quiet room getting a massage.
I'm going to actually call out Linda's credibility on having ADHD because I have massive ADHD, which everybody knows, and it's quite soothing for me to allow me to concentrate on your voice, Ray. I like it.
Massages your brain.
I'm on.
Yes,
I'm in. And I have a megahertz channel on Spotify that gives me calming noises all day long so that I don't watch the rabbit run across the room every 5 seconds.
Now, there are 7 types of ADHD, so she may have
7 types of ADHD now? Wow.
Andy, I've got every single type, so trust me, it's not even a question.
It's true. It's true.
That's amazing. Well, there will be a segment of the show that will have no background music, and I will say it's for Linda. So once we get to the econ stuff, we're going to go really quickly through those articles, and I'll turn it off for you. But until then, Linda, here we are. All right. So the other thing I want to address, last week, I talked about the NAR annual report, and I had read through it, and I thought it was underwhelming. And then I had a ChatGPT analyze it and tell me all about it, and it was harsh on it. And after that show, the next day I got an email, and it says, "Hi Ray, Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. I'm writing today for a few reasons. First, NAR just released its annual report, providing a transparent, comprehensive update on the association's progress. The report details how NAR delivered for realtors in 2025, blah, blah, blah. As part of this commitment, I would like to invite you to a gathering of," this is the part where I think they got it wrong, but don't tell them, "influential industry voices." We're hosting at NAR Chicago headquarters. I'm not going to say the date because I don't know how much of this is private. The event will feature discussions with NAR leadership, including Nakia Wright, Lawrence Yoon, Shannon McGann, that's the Vice President of Chief Advocacy Officer, Mark Birschbach, the Executive Vice President of Strategic Business Innovation and Technology, and John Waklowski, General Counsel and Senior Vice President of Legal. I got to let them know by mid-February. And at first I shared this with the contributors chat. And if y'all want to be in the contributors chat, send me a message. I'll add you to the contributors chat. But see, Move Me to Duluth said exactly. I can focus without, I can't focus without something like this. See? I think you said I can focus, but maybe you meant can't focus because maybe you weren't focused. Anyway, thanks for joining the show. Move Me to Duluth. Yeah, can't. He said can't. Okay, good. Or she. I can't see the avatar. Yeah, Alan, my brother is in the chat. He says, "Watch out, General Counsel," quote unquote. So I shared this with the contributors chat, and that's exactly what y'all said. It's a trap. And I thought so too. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? But then they have a full itinerary already planned out. So I think what happens, I feel like this was already planned, and then somebody shot them the podcast we did last week, and they're like, all right, add this guy. So I'm going to try to make it work. I got some scheduling stuff to work around, but I'm going to try to make it work. It's in March. But I thought that was interesting. I want to share that with you guys. So thanks everybody for watching the show and contributing enough to where they think I'm an influencer in the industry. So
Can I be your entourage for that trip?
I was going to say, we need to take a road trip.
how many plus ones can I have? And if not, I'll just have Clubhouse on in my pocket. And then you guys they'll suddenly start hearing y'all chat like, where's that coming from? Like, oh guys, Clubhouse wants to chime in on this one. Why don't you have a MLS that is open for the public to search? Yeah, we'll do all that. So yeah, it's going to be real interesting. We'll see what happens. Speaking of lawsuits and general counsel, first up, rocket companies. Rocket companies hit with a lawsuit alleging mortgage steering and RESPA violations. Uh-oh. This is something that we've been talking about. How many years have we been talking about how Rocket's doing this and the potential violation for it all? I think it's been a lot of years. So 3 homebuyer plaintiffs are suing Rocket companies, alleging that the company violated RESPA through its lead referral program for real estate agents. On Monday, they became the latest firm to face a lawsuit over allegations that it forced real estate agents to steer clients to its mortgage offerings. This is a very similar suit to what Zillow is facing. The suit was filed at the U.S. District Court in Eastern Michigan by 3 homebuyer plaintiffs from Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. The plaintiffs said they used Rocket for their mortgages after being referred to a company by their real estate agent. The lawsuit's complaint goes on to state that Rocket runs a referral network where it funnels leads to real estate agents in exchange for a fee at closing. The quote is, in exchange for these leads, agents were required to steer clients to Rocket Mortgage LLC, that's Rocket Mortgage's, Rocket's mortgage company, and away from other mortgage providers, all in violation of real estate agents' fiduciary duties to their clients, the plaintiffs alleged in the complaint. Rocket also compelled agents and brokerages to refer clients to Rocket Mortgage when those clients had no prior connection to Rocket. So this was my personal experience on it. And if you asked me who the agent was, I couldn't tell you because it was so long ago. But basically, I got a lead from Rocket once because they couldn't find someone locally. The client, this was from Rocket Mortgage. The client did not like Rocket Mortgage. And I can't remember all the details because, like I said, it was a long time ago. But I remember the client asking for other real estate agents to talk to, or not real estate agents, lenders to talk to. So I sent him a couple of lenders, and that Rocket Mortgage lender called me and basically said I wouldn't get any more leads from them, which I wasn't even in their lead program at the time. They just couldn't find anyone in the area. It's like, well, if you're going to send them somewhere else, it's like, the guy was complaining about you, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? But and I understand, I understand Rocket's point of view. I don't think they're allowed to do that kind of stuff because it's quid pro quo. So my only other experience with Rocket personally was I was representing a client. That client got referred by a friend to Rocket. Rocket then said, hey, if you use this agent, you'll get a better deal, and referred them to a Rocket Mortgage agent. I let them go because that's fine. I didn't want to work with them really, but they had a terrible experience with that agent. I do remember that one. I can't remember the person's name, but I can remember the stories that came after that. So there you go. Those are my only two experiences with the Rocket RESPA stuff where someone's referring to someone else and why. So I don't have any other personal experiences, but I have had chats with people that talk about this being a quid pro quo type of arrangement. And in response to the lawsuit, Rocket spokesperson disputed the allegations, saying we categorically disagree and will dispute all allegations that Rocket Redfin or any named defendants are doing anything illegal. The claim in this case are a complete retard of the case that the CFPB filed and was quickly dismissed. Rocket is proud to help homebuyers navigate complex real estate partnerships. We're confident that we'll be vindicated on the facts presented. So there you go. We'll see what happens. We believe, who said this? In a statement on the new case against Rocket, Steve W. Berman, managing partner of Higgins Berman, said Monday, every day families rely on laws governing our nation's real estate market for fairness and for transparency. And we believe Rocket has failed to play by those rules. We believe that hundreds of thousands of consumers have been duped by Rocket's tricks, and judging by this year-over-year revenue, its scheme has worked. Ooh. Adam's in the chat. What's up, Adam? He says Rocket just had a bad business process. Rocket just had a bad business process. They really should have just tried to recruit the agent that had the buyer in the first place and tried making money on the next transaction through the referral process. Agreed. I think there was way more that they could do, but they tried to say, well, we own the lead. So since we own the lead, we own the revenue. And since we own the revenue and you're sending that revenue somewhere else, then this should be ours, not yours. So that's probably the biggest news story of the week, in my opinion. And it comes on the heels of the same thing happening with Zillow, where Zillow is going through the exact same lawsuit. So I'm curious if these RESPA violations are going to be serious, or if they're going to be a slap on the wrist, or if they're just going to ignore them. If they ignore them, I feel like if they ignore them, then I feel like there's going to be a lot of precedent set and reasons why other violators are going to say, well, hey, you ignored this, so you've got to ignore my case too.
So I'm going to put up a little poll in Clubhouse and see how many people have ever gotten a lead from a lender, because I think we talked about this at one point, but I'll be curious to see what the results of that are.
I've gotten lender leads. but but that's because I tell my lender leads that I want them. So yeah, like lenders that I work with, I ask them on occasion, like, hey, are you working with somebody right now that not really represented with an agent just starting the process? And every now and then I'll catch one. So I guess I'm the one asking them. But there are a couple of lenders that use me to buy stuff, and those guys will send me people because they've used me, and they, one guy uses me to invest in properties, and so he'll send me some. So I've gotten a couple of them.
Is this an anonymous poll? So
absolutely not. No. I'm tweeting it later. 2 Rocket Mortgage.
2, yeah. We'll
Red Rocket.
Wait, hang on. Julie says, I've gotten a couple of lender leads. I'm glad you're here, by the way.
She said that publicly, right?
Yes, she did. Adam Johnson said, Rocket also has some of the worst origination fees I've seen from any lender. Now, the interesting thing about lender leads is you could take a lead from a lender and they could already be pre-approved and pre-qualified and everything, and you could service that lender or that lead. That's not a problem. The problem is when the lender says, hey, I'm sending you this lead, so you have to send me leads. That's the problem. And I don't know for sure, but I think the problem also is when a lender says, hey, I'm sending you this lead, so you can't send them any more lenders or talk to them about any more lenders. I think that starts to get a little bit into the gray area of RESPA violations. If your client's like, I want a different lender, you're like, well, nope, you have to use this one. That's not going to bode well. Goodness, gotta clear my throat. Sorry. Adam says, I've gotten random Rocket Enzo leads, or they just try to look up to try to find an agent in my area and think I'm the only one that actually responds to high volume sales. They both close just fine, but I also don't try to move them to a different lender once I receive the referral. Yeah. That's normally if I get a referral from a lender, I just, the lending's done. So now what? I don't try to make them shop. But if they're complaining about the lender and the lender's not doing a good job, I'm going to help the client. Heidi Home Loan says, new here, but as a lender, I've been waiting for this for years. Oh, really, Heidi? Is this something you've experienced, Heidi, where you have a loan and then somebody starts to use a Rocket agent and suddenly they go somewhere else just for the discount? That's what I feel like it is too. Like, we're going to take this real estate agent's money and give it to you on the back end, but they don't even give you all the money. It's a small portion of what they take. Andy Rose says, yes, Rocket is generally higher on cost, and I've seen them not explain things in enough detail for the buyer to understand those costs. Yeah. We're like, oh, look, you got a super low rate in origination. It's like 2 points. So stupid.
All right. So the next question will be, how many of you have gotten a lead from a lender and then that lead left that lender and still wanted to work with you? That could be an interesting one.
That would be interesting. I've gotten that one too, but at the same time, like, I try to leave them with that lender as much as possible because that lender's done the work and they've already got them pre-approved.
Sometimes.
Just continue to do a good job and you don't have that problem.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them are really good at generating leads too. That's why I asked the question, because every time I see a lender, hey, let's go grab coffee, Matt. I'm like, what are you doing to generate leads? Before I agree to coffee, what are you doing to generate leads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, skate agent? See you over there. Hey, you know what's better than Realtor.com? Realtor.com Plus. It's like Hulu, but it's Hulu Plus. It's like Disney, but it's Disney Plus. Realtor.com unveils Realtor.com Plus in a major MLS rollout. A new phase of how MLS portals and home search platforms work together just went live. Today, Realtor.com unveiled Realtor.com Plus, a collaborative home search platform built directly with MLSs rather than layered on top of them. The launch starts with a Canopy MLS in Charlotte, North Carolina, and already includes signed agreements with 15 additional MLSs to bring the total footprint to more than 12,000 real estate professionals. Oh, I'm sorry, 122,000 real estate professionals. According to Realtor.com, the Rollout represents the largest multi-MLS co-branded portal collaboration since online MLS data sharing began. The platform is now live for all 20,000 subscribers of Canopy MLS, with another wave of MLS markets expected to come online in the coming weeks. So what is it? It's positioned as a shift away from the traditional portal model, where MLS data is licensed out and monetized elsewhere. Instead, Realtor.com Plus is built to sit inside the MLS ecosystem to preserve branding, attribution, and client relationships. Realtor.com CEO Damon Eales described the product as a modernization of the company's role. It's hard to understand really what they're doing. It's supposed to be a more seamless integration. It's supposed to be more intuitive on searches. It's supposed to be a strong brand. It's a collaborative, transparent consumer experience. This article was written by Broke Agent Media, but I can't help but think that they copy and pasted the press release. Or maybe this is I don't think it's a sponsored ad. Go to the bottom. It doesn't say it's a sponsored ad, so it just feels a little bit like that. I don't really understand the difference. I mean, they say they're living inside the MLS. Does that mean that they're actually controlling some of the MLS? Does that mean that they get the off-market listings as well? The technology behind Realtor.com Plus, the platform is built on ZenList, a collaborative search technology. Realtor.com recently acquired ZenList. It's already in use by leading MLSs, top brokerages, more than 35,000 agents. Do any of you guys use ZenList? ZenList? Beyond search and collaboration, Realtor.com Plus is also positioning itself as a connective layer across the tools. So maybe they're like, all right, living in Columbia, South Carolina says, I have used ZenList. Is it good? Julie's never heard of it. I've heard of it, and I think I remember hearing people really like it. But I could be wrong. I'll move up so I can display your comments there. I feel like this is an integration with an API, but maybe that's too simplified. Where you have the integration with the MLS, but you also now have an API that is smoother to go to all these third-party sources, namely Realtor.com. Adam says it's a way for them to entice you to put your clients on their CRM. Yeah. Andy Rose said ZenList, Zendesk product. I don't think so. I think those are different. She said it's okay. It's similar to HomeSnap with the access and all the info. I did like HomeSnap. Of those products, HomeSnap was pretty good. Adam Johnson said EXP does. I believe it will use a 4R in-house listing. Oh, 4 hour. Are you doing voice to text? I believe it will use 4 hour in-house listings. It says 4R. Our MLS added it 2 years ago, but only get 3 free buyer searches. Oh, interesting. So there's an additional cost on top of it. Well, I guess maybe that's how Realtor Plus makes their money. You can have just a regular Realtor.com integration, but if you get the Realtor Plus integration, then it's an additional fee. Yeah, ZenList is owned by Move. They acquired it. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye out. There's no real product demo. There are these photos that they have on there, but It just looks like realtor.com to me. It's got a platform where you can chat with the buyer or seller. You see client activity. Looks like a regular CRM. So maybe these MLSs will start to push it out as a free CRM option to their people. That could be good. That could save real estate agents a little money, a little moolah. But I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an eye on it to see exactly what's happening. Oh, sweet. If you want a Zenlist recording, I can do a video and send it to you. Yeah, shoot it to me. We'll take a look at it. All right, next up. Investor calls CoStar's residential product a fiasco and slams Homes.com spending. Well, this was sent to me by Olivier. Oh, hang on. Alexa just went off on Homes.com just then. It started reading this article, which I don't know why. Anyway, so an investor calls CoStar's residential product a fiasco. This was sent to me by Olivier. He actually sent me this link, which is from the Business Wire. It's Third Point sends letter to the board of directors of CoStar Group. This letter is juicy. We'll link it in the description down below. But I'll give you a synopsis. Let me read a couple of these. Our dim view of the company's strategy is plainly shared by other shareholders, underscored by the abysmal stock performance in the past 5 years, down 27% versus a 94% total return. Listen to this. This is bad. We thought then, as we do now, that the company's anemic performance can be ascribed entirely to the misallocation of billions of dollars into Homes.com. Overseen by a feckless board of directors and directors that has failed to protect shareholders from Mr. Florence's quixotic quest, Quixotic, that's the word of the day, quixotic quest, while rewarding him with exorbitant pay packages, like an elementary school child who wins a prize even for finishing last. Mr. Florence's bonuses are perhaps the costliest participation award our firm has witnessed. That is scathing. Anyway, they go on to say the time for talking is over. Our standstill period ends at midnight, and we will now take concrete actions to protect our investment. So, CoStar's RRE strategy has been a multi-year failure. The strategy was ill-conceived. Management has grossly miscalculated capital. This I thought it was prolific, but it's profligate spending. PROFLIGATE. Profligate spending. I don't even, these guys are smart. Has produced horrendous return on capital. Investors are not fooled by management's continued excuse about missed targets. And shareholders see through management's desperate attempts to buy more time. So basically, there are people that say, hey, we love CoStar when it was focused on the commercial product that made it so famous. And now you're taking it to the residential product and failing miserably, just throwing money out the window. That's the summation that I got from this letter, but you guys can see the letter. Again, we'll put the link to it in the description. This is what Inman says about it. They use this.
This could be said about many of the real estate models that we've seen. But one investor finally is standing up to, the bleeding, right?
Yeah. The letter comes just weeks after CoStar said it would make a drastic cuts into its spending on Homes.com through 2030. The company specifically said it would cut spending by $350 million. That's 35%. I have an idea, and I'm hoping I get to pitch it in March. The idea is, what if the National Association of Realtors bought Homes.com? Jack, we hear your car beeping.
Oh, I thought it was a life support or something.
Yeah,
You okay, Jack?
we're about to hear Jack flatline over there. But no, this is really interesting, because if CoStar doesn't really want to continue with Homes.com, if they say it's a worthless adventure, basically, to even continue with it, then why doesn't the National Association of Realtors purchase it and put our own MLS? There's no better place than a Homes.com. Are you looking for a home? Go to Homes.com. It's got a great ring to it. And it could be the one place where everything is already synced up with all the MLSs. It's a great integration. It's got APIs out the wazoo to go to everyone else, like Zillow and Realtor.com and all those other places. But it could just be focused on, hey, you have the listing, then somebody clicks and they call you. That could be, I mean, that's brilliant. And if
It
they're
really
losing
is.
money on it,
It really is. And one step closer to something that will never happen, sadly.
yeah. Adam. Adam just said, what if NAR purchased Homes.com? See, that would be super funny. See, this is saying the same thing I did. Julie says, why don't you pitch that in your meeting? I'm definitely going to talk about the need for the nationwide MLS and how that's the number one feedback I hear from agents across the country. That the one way to get agents and to keep us in is a nationwide MLS that promotes the listing agent. That's it. You do that, you've got everybody. It's super easy.
I'll put that in my notes for the meeting, Ray.
Adam said, what if we owned Realtor.com? Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? The only problem, Adam, is that no one knows what a Realtor is. So I actually think Homes.com is a way better domain. Because then all the agents could have email addresses of your name at Homes.com. I mean, that's great. Instead of your name at realtor.org, nobody uses the Realtor email that we all got. You remember that years ago? They were like, hey guys, new and improved, you get an email address and we're going to change the logo. Andy Rose says, so they're saying that CoStar is the Don Quixote of residential real estate sites. Is that what the word is? Hang on. I'm going to go back to it. Is it Quixote? Where is it? I'm looking now. Because
yes. So
let me,
exotic
I want to read it in
comes from
context
Don
again.
Quixote.
Where, I mean, Quixote-esque is great. Where was it? I got to find it.
Exotic is from Don Quixote.
How do you pronounce it? It doesn't look like Quixote.
Quixotic.
So it is Quixotic?
Yeah.
And that is from Quixote? Don Quixote?
Yes.
For those of the audio listeners, Quixote is spelled Quixote, and Quixotic is spelled Quixotic. So I see the connection, but I feel like it should be like a Quixotic quest, but maybe not. Mr. Florence's Quixotic quest. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
It's going down the vocabulary rabbit hole.
Yeah, I thought it was pronounced coyote.
It means extremely idealistic or unrealistic. Can you all hear this?
Mm-hmm.
Quixotic is the British English pronunciation. So you're right, Andy. But I feel like I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the connection would have been way better if it was Quixotic. But That's, all right, fine. So there you go. Investors not happy with CoStar's foray into residential real estate. If they would have just built a CoStar for homes.com residential side, it would have been way better. But they just went a different direction. I don't really know. I don't know why. Rick, what's up, Rick? He said, see my bold prediction from the end of December. Which one was it? I can't look it up now because it actually takes a bit to look those things up. But what was your bold prediction? Slide it here so that we can give you that participation trophy.
It was National MLS, wasn't it?
Yes, Adam. Adam says, Ray, you do know that we owned Realtor.com and sold it. Yes, we actually licensed the use of it, not quote unquote sold it. And there may be a way to get it back. I just don't know what that way is. Okay. I'm going to keep going because this one's not as big of a deal, but we have a lot of agents in Atlanta that listen. Spread the word, y'all. Hotlanta. CEO pleads guilty to a $380 million real estate Ponzi scheme. Todd Burkhalter executed what feds are calling one of the largest Ponzi schemes in Georgia history while acquiring luxury goods via fraudulent real estate investments. So my question was, did this gum up the real estate market in Atlanta or in Georgia? And Matt, you said no, because he was really just buying stuff like jewelry, vehicles, private jets, all that jazz.
Yeah. I mean, a $2 million yacht. I think it was a $1 million condo in Mexico. Anyone that promises any returns, I've got bad news for all of you investors out there.
Yeah.
I probably can't guarantee returns. It didn't really do much here. I mean, I think $320,000 in luxury clothing, a bunch of massages, private plane flights and chartering. So, a lot of this money, once it was spent, it was gone. And I'm sure they're going to sell. I think he had 10 cars roughly, which of 7 of the 10, I think, were like Range Rovers. And they're all the same color. As a car guy, I'm just like, dude, $380 million goes a long way with some cars. But anyway.
What color were they?
All black.
Oh,
all black.
I have black cars. I like black cars.
I love black cars, but all of them, like within a year or two, like not even the newest generation. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But so 2,000 people, $190,000 on average. If you take that 380 million across the 2,000 people, I'm sure just like every great Ponzi scheme, and if you've ever watched American Greed, which I loved that show. I hated that CNBC took that show off because it was like, if you want to get scammed, go watch this, and you'll never ever trust anyone ever again. but anyway, so he's gonna have to get rid of some of this stuff, or I guess the DOJ is gonna have to get rid of this stuff for him and see if they can pay anyone back. But they're trying to get a hold of people now that were actually taken by this guy. And Alpharetta's, 10, 15 minutes from me, so it's just right up the road. But
interesting.
Yeah, for the first couple of months, of course, everyone involved got some returns, and they're like, "This is great. He's getting us 10% over 3 months.
Heck yeah!
So amazing. Let's double it down. Give him another 190."
Yeah, we knew a couple of Clubhouse guys that would do the same thing. That's what you said, right? Julie said you could buy a lot of Toyotas with that.
That's a lot of Toyotas.
Adam said 10x, man. 10x. That dude is interesting. Dude's like, if you're going to scam someone, make sure you buy the newest generation. Yeah. He did buy a condo in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. But yeah, so Mike, the reason I guess why this popped up, because it was a real estate Ponzi scheme, but he never actually invested anything in the real estate. So he just took people's money and did whatever he wanted with it. I guess he gave part of that money, he gave 10% of what they gave him back to him. And that was how the Ponzi scheme works. So had he bought like a whole bunch of properties and then those gone belly up, it'd be a different situation, but there was no actual property built.
Yeah. He said that he was going to give it to bridge loans for developers. And this was 2020 to 24, I think.
Yeah.
So, Atlanta was white hot during that time.
Yeah.
So bridge loan's actually not a bad idea, especially if you were going to sell something to go buy something else. But for developers were just sitting on land. New construction were just sitting on land going, this land's going to keep going up in value. We're not going to build anything until these $500,000 townhomes are $850,000. We're good. So,
interesting.
The real estate acceleration loan is what he called it. REAL.
Yeah, I hate that he used the REAL acronym, but if you're in real estate, that's going to get used a lot. So
eventually, yeah.
Well, if you guys want to avoid things like this, I'd ask you to sign up for my course. It'll teach you how to actually invest in real estate, and you can send me all your money. Don't do that.
Yeah, anyone that says guarantee or trust me, this is how.
This is how I made all my money, and now I can make you the same amount of money.
Yeah. Plus, bro only has 37 subscribers on YouTube. Go do like just a little bit of digging. I mean, come on.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Rick said his bold prediction from the end of December was that a major player would buy a portal. Now that Homes.com is kind of fledgling, could you see CoStar anywhere? I bet they're like, shoot, we shouldn't have bought Caldwell Banker. We should have bought Homes.com. That would have been rad if they said, hey guys, actually we're just going to unjoin from all the MLSs and put everything of ours on Homes.com because we bought it. That would be like, what? Anyway, let's talk about Cali's new photo rule. All my California folks, shout out to you guys, local news. What you should know about California's new listing photo law. The California law changes what agents must disclose when doctoring listing videos. America FOI breaks down what you can and can't do. That's a cool name. So being catfished by photos is disappointing to say the least. Time and energy and space in your head vested into the property, imagining yourself there, calculating your lifestyle fit, all to evaporate when you walk through the door, realize that listing photos bear no resemblance to reality. So the main question is, all right, here's the synopsis. They have to disclose whenever they edit a photo. But what is considered editing? Right? Is changing the sky something you have to disclose? Because obviously you can see that the sky is now this beautiful color that makes you stop to scroll. Is that something you have to disclose? What you can't do. Real estate brokers and salespersons and anyone acting on their behalf must disclose when images are digitally altered and provide access to unaltered versions via link, URL, QR code. Disclosures may be reasonably conspicuous and located on or adjacent altered image. So I mean, one of the ways to do it is just to put the real image in there too, right? So let's say you have 10 edited photos. Well, the unedited photos are right behind those 10. So they click through the 10 beautiful photos and then, hey, here's the edited photo. But what if, Christina M. Smallhorn's here. What's up? We haven't even mentioned affordability. Adam Johnson said Wisconsin just passed a similar law. On websites, the agents control original images must be posted directly or linked. This requirement applies across all platforms. I mean, all of them. MLS, our personal websites, socials, portals, virtual tours. If digitally altered image appears anywhere, a buyer might see it before making an offer. Disclosure is required. Adam Johnson said, yeah, that's an issue, changing the sunset on the wrong side of the house. That is true. We have seen that. There's no carve out for Instagram, no exemption for Facebook. No, everyone does it. The language is intentionally open to interpretation because the legislature understood that buyers research properties everywhere and altered images on any platform can influence their decision making. Agents have used it for years with no disclosure. Turning on lights, greening grass, removing clutter and equipment, adding pool water, removing snow or cords, adding fireplace effects, removing imperfections. These practices existed, but disclosure was voluntary in California. It's now required. So they can pursue disciplinary action, including fines. We thought the edits were acceptable as not a legal defense, they said. I'm going to get to the list. So I found this. This is from a photographer that is in that area, and they have a too long didn't read synopsis of this. It applies to real estate agents, brokers, developers, and marketing staff involved in property advertising. The bottom line, any digitally altered, AI-generated, typical software edited photo must include a clear disclosure and access to the original version. The goal is to promote accurate, transparent real estate marketing and to reduce consumer deception claims that are related to images. Once we go down, here it is. What is digitally altered? When you add, remove, or change elements of the property, like fixtures, furniture, appliances, flooring, walls, paint color, landscaping, hardscaping, facades, floor plans, items outside the property, streetlights, views, utility poles, neighborhoods, homes, etc. The law seems to intentionally use broad language, including but not limited to, which means the definition may evolve. What is not considered digitally altered? Lighting corrections, sharpening, white balance, color correction, angle or straightening adjustments, cropping, exposure, or any other common photo editing adjustments. This is a category which is standard in real estate image photography process falls. So here's part of the issue. Whenever you go to a house, one of the things that we've all heard is that the buyer's like, oh, I thought this room was much bigger, but it's not much bigger because the photographer used a certain lens that captured a wider angle and then adjusted the corners so that it didn't roll in. So apparently that is not considered digitally altering the image. So that's one of the main complaints. I've never had anyone show up at a house and say, the sky's not pink and this doesn't look as good as it does on the obviously edited Twilight photo. But every complaint I've ever had about a house when somebody shows up is that, where's the space? This room looked a lot bigger on the photo. And that's not something that'll have to be disclosed, which I think is really interesting. I think by creating some kind of imagination that these are the accurate photos because they've been edited normally, and these are the inaccurate photos because we've taken the furniture out of them, it creates this, well, if these are accurate, then I could buy the house and know exactly what I'm getting. And that's not true either. So I feel like there should just be a disclosure on all photos that says editing can make this room feel bigger. Color correction can make this room feel like there needs to be just a general disclosure on all photos that says, if you're buying this sight unseen, you shouldn't. If it's important to you to make sure these photos are accurate, you shouldn't. Because even white balance, that changes the color of the wall. So how are you not painting it?
These photos have been digitally enhanced, right?
But what is, I guess
After.
my question is like, what is digital enhanced? Because every single photo that is edited, or even now taken, like if you take a photo with your iPhone, especially if you kind of go into the settings and make it more like a photographer camera, whenever you take a photo, you have to sit there for a second. It opens the exposure. It's really nice. And you get a much better quality image. Is it true to what you see? Sometimes, but sometimes it looks a lot better because your iPhone will correct things and make it look better. So if I use that, is that digitally altered or enhanced? No. I could use an iPhone. I could just upload it straight to the MLS and not have to worry about any kind of disclosure because it just snapped it with my iPhone. I didn't even edit it. But the iPhone edited it for me with all the AI in it. There are cameras right now with AI in it. And when you take a picture, the AI adjusts the image for you. So you can not have to spend all the time in the editing room. Well, is that digitally altered? It should be. So I like the idea of the rule. I think they're headed the right direction. But what I think we need to start doing is just setting the expectation to note that all photos that you see of a property almost all the time have been edited and may not be true to life. And if you just set that expectation, then you don't need to worry about any kind of disclosures or providing access to originals or whatever, because even their originals, if they are edited by a professional photographer, are going to look way better than the house does in real life. So I think this is a lot of work for no actual benefit to the consumer. if I don't know, what are your thoughts? Am I off? Yeah, Adam said so. Come in adjustments. The argument that everybody does, it would be a good argument. Oh yeah, in our MLS, these agents have put these statements in there. Images may or may not be altered. Measurements may or may not be correct. Information is gathered from various sources and may or may not be correct. Yeah, we actually have that at the bottom of each one of our MLS printouts. It says that this information is thought to be accurate, but you got to double check everything to make sure. What you've had somebody say that this house looks way better in the pic. Oh, okay. Yeah. Or they say it looks way better in person. I've never heard anyone say it looks way better in person.
I was going to say real estate photographers are magicians. Like that rarely happens.
I've heard somebody say it looks way better in person when the agent's using an iPad to take the photos.
You're not wrong about any of this, but it's obviously a slow news week.
Well, the realtor thing was the best. That was or the rocket thing. That's the biggest news story for sure. But yeah, I just think it's I spend a lot of time digitally altering. Justin Conoco says, I'll sue you. Cool. What's up, Justin? I spend a lot of time on the images to make sure that they're like in the best possible light for the client and they represent the home well. But if I'm doing a white balance edit, then I'm making the wall a different color. So it's as if I'm painting, but I'm not.
Yeah, but you could make the argument that light bulbs do that too. I mean,
100% you could.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fine line. I haven't seen a ton of listings, at least here in Atlanta, that are grossly modified.
I've seen gross modification. I haven't seen a lot of high quality modification.
Well, what I mean by that is that they don't actually call out and say, oh, by the way, this actually doesn't have a pool in the backyard. This is just a rendering that the owners got because they were thinking about it. I think most people are generally pretty good about this. I think there's just way too many hands in the pot because now you got the MLS, you got the platforms that are being fed by those MLSs, you got the agent, you got the listing agent, you got the seller themselves. I mean, I've had sellers hand off their photos that they had a professional photographer do, and they're amazing. But then you got the photographer. Like, I don't know. It's just, why are we so concerned about this, I guess, is the big question. Like,
yeah.
Again, on one hand, I can count the number of times I've been to a house that there isn't something that was in the photos that was like, oh, okay, so that was just a rendering, or, oh, that was modified. But it's never been like $100,000. I don't know.
That's true. Well, I mean, one of the ways we get some of our listings is that we show them our staging, and it looks so good that they can't tell it's staging.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we can do this for your home if we feel like it needs a painting or it doesn't need a painting or something like that. We'll just edit it. But is removing a painting from a wall, is that digitally altered? Because that's just decor. That's what it's
going to look like when they walk in the house and it's theirs. I mean,
correct. So, should we have a disclaimer that says all this furniture in here is staged? Because they never stage things how people normally live. And so when somebody gets in there, they're like, oh, okay, that was a smaller than normal couch because it's a staging couch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot more things, I guess, for California to worry about than that. But I just think requiring a disclosure that's saying all pictures are edited to put the listing in the best light possible. So the photos you're looking at may or may not be true to life. Boom. You just put that on everything and you're good to go. But having to provide access to originals gives the consumer a false sense of security, in my opinion. Because I could show them quote unquote originals from my photographer and they're going to think, oh, that's a much nicer house than what I bought.
Yeah. Well, and what about the uncontrollables? Like the neighbor paints their house hot pink a week after you took your listing photos.
Yeah.
And the drone photo doesn't show that. It shows, the perfectly nice white brick house.
Yeah,
I think your point is
behind the house that was cleared. It looks like forest from the drone photo.
Yep.
I think your point is that even the original is
correct.
It's not original.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my photographers uses HDR, so they're taking photos at different f-stops, and then they combine that into one photo, so it gets rid of shadows and just makes a nice, clean photo. It is very true to life, but it looks better than what you see in person. So is that digitally altered? Well, he's taking 5 photos and smashing into one. But that's what a lot of real estate photographers do. So what's the original? Do I have to now provide access to the 5 photos that were smashed into that one? I don't know. This just gets real litigious, in my opinion.
I'd like to see a disclosure on your YouTube thumbnails.
They're so
Since
good.
I can't see you looking down the elevator shaft as
I
Bruce
think-
Willis.
Jack, I think that wig is fake, though, if I'm being honest. I don't think
I mean, are you sure? Because I think
I'm
I
telling
see
my
no
kids.
disclaimer.
I'm telling my kids that's George Washington.
tell them it's Judge Wapner. That's the.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is what we're talking about. Rocket suit for RESPA. There it is on YouTube. I'm displaying that was a fun. I'm loving the AI usage. So, all right. So speaking of consumers and what they pay for whenever you get a listing photos from a pro, CPC latest report says consumers are grossly overpaying on agent compensation. What? You mean the CPC doesn't like real estate agents? The CPC says commissions haven't come down despite the settlement that was supposed to lower all of our fees. The report suggests risk aversion leads to a set of assumptions that shape commission choices, such as lower commissions signal lower quality service. Higher fees reflect greater service and expertise and effort. Discounted pricing must involve cutting back on some services. But CPC's comparison of U.S. commission rates to other countries like Great Britain, the Netherlands, and Australia show that we are roughly twice as high as those places. But have they looked at the service models in those areas? Because from what I hear of agents in those areas that have told me that we do way more for our clients in the U.S. than they do there. So I think the assumption of higher fees reflect greater expertise and effort, and discounted pricing involve cutting back on services. For a lot of agents, that's very true. I could not do the stuff for our listings if I had to discount my services. There's no way. I cannot do the professional videos. I cannot do the 362. There's a lot that I could not do. And then they go into some of the details about it. But there you go. That's on Broke Agent Media. Dun, dun, dun. The last semi-political, semi-economic thing before we get into the rapid fire of the news, the World Economic Forum in Davos on Wednesday, where President Trump used a portion of his speech to share his views on housing affordability. He also argued that more than once, any effort to make housing more affordable should not come at the expense of people who already own homes. So that's hard to do. So basically you're saying we want to lower the price of housing and yet maintain the equity for the people who currently live in their house. That's a tough sale. Oh wait, let me go back. Eric, I see this. There's an app that functions like a DSLR and will bracket the photos. Yes. So my question, Eric, is which is the original photo then if you had to send it, if you had to make all of them. Anyway, all right. Sorry. I like those apps like that. It's fun. Homeownership is an economic signal. President Trump framed homeownership as more than a personal milestone. He described it as a signal of whether the broader economy is working and argued that high interest rates push ownership out of reach for millions. His view is that the problem isn't the lack of desire to buy, it's the cost of borrowing. So he explained it this way. Homeownership has always been a symbol of health and vigor of American society. But that goal fell out of reach for millions and millions of people in the Biden era because interest rates went up too high. He said, in recent years, Wall Street giants and institutional investment firms, many of you are here, many of you are good friends of mine, many of you are supporters. Sorry to do this. I'm so sorry. But you've driven up housing prices by purchasing hundreds of thousands of single-family homes. And it's been a great investment for them, often as much as 10% of houses on the market. So this is when he was saying that he wasn't going to allow that kind of purchasing. He said, but homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I've signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. Which that does sound good in a seller's economy, because you want more inventory out there, and you're thinking like, oh, this could get more inventory out there because now those investment firms can't purchase these properties that are available on the market and more consumers can. However, there are certain instances in which you're going to have some sellers that are basically begging an institutional investor to come buy their home because the consumers don't want it. So I see both sides. Credit and debt. He addressed that. I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. This helps millions of people save for a home. That's not a bad idea. Like if you currently have a high interest rate on your card, capping that at 10 allows you to save more. Hopefully you'll use it. Let's see. Finally, I have instructed government-backed institutions to purchase up to $200 billion in mortgage bonds, bringing down interest rates. I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not-too-distant future. Yeah, we knew that was coming. So y'all go take a look at Broke Agent Media. They've got the breakdown of it. It's interesting what happened in Davos. It's not, I mean, there's not really much he can do. So we'll see how the market reacts. I mean, the purchasing the bonds is good. Hopefully the rates will go down. But really we need to get rid of and I think he mentioned it in here. I may have skipped over it, but he definitely needs to help kind of cut the red tape in some of those areas so builders can build. I was talking with one of our local builders, and that was the thing he was telling me. He was like, man, if we could just, he said, it costs me so much to develop a lot now because of all the stuff he has to pay for to develop the lot that it's adding cost to the house. So there you go. All right, Linda. I hope you're here. I hope you made it, Linda, because this next portion is for you. No background music, just straight economic news. Here's rapid fire. On the economy, homebuyers canceled deals at their highest rate ever in December. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I said no music, sorry. Homebuyers in the U.S. canceled about 40,000 purchase agreements, not 400,000 purchase agreements. Homebuyers in the U.S. canceled about 40,000 purchase agreements during the month of December, which represents 16.3% of homes that went under contract that month. That's a record for any December, dating back to at least 2017. In December of 2024, 14.9% of home purchase agreements were canceled. Analyst by Redfin is based on MLS pending sales, for which home properties could have gone under contract for months earlier than December. Yeah, that's a pretty big jump. For context, in March, it looks like March of 2020, 16.3% of purchases were canceled. That's the kind of volume that we just had cancel. That's a lot. It's been hovering since late 2022, above 13% of cancellations, kind of going up and down, touching that 16% number. But this was 16.31%, which is higher than the 16.3% in 2020 that was caused by the panic around the pandy. Yeah, that's not great. High housing costs and rising inventory have made buyers more selective, said Chen Zhao, head of economics research at Redfin. Home sellers outnumber buyers at a record margin, meaning that the buyers who are in the market have options and may walk if they believe they can find a better, more affordable home. Hey, wait, Atlanta's in there. Atlanta saw the highest rate of home contract cancellations at 22.5%, guys. What's going on down there?
Yeah, that feels about right.
That feels about right, yeah.
Yeah, like 1 in 5-ish. Yeah, it was ugly in December.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it on that one. Let's go to the next one. There was much weeping and gnashing of teeth. Home buyers are backing out of deals at the fastest pace. Oh, we've already covered that one but it's CNBC too. Patty Cohn is the agent featured on the photo. We always like to give them a shout out. Let Patty know if you're listening. Okay. The next one is interesting too. More Gen Zers are buying homes, but it's at a trickle, not a flood. Home ownership for young Americans is a mixed bag. The home ownership rate of Gen Zers and millennials is ticking up, but both generations are tracking behind their parents. Home ownership rate for younger generations inched up 2024 to 2025 because affordability and inventory improved slightly, but it didn't surge because housing costs remain historically high and many young buyers were turned off by the economic uncertainty. Christina says, oh, she's talking about Trump. Sorry, I'm just now saying this. She's talking about Trump in Davos. It's a good soundbite, but it doesn't make sense if you can't have both. Affordable, but don't lose equity for current homeowners. Yeah. It's the constant struggle because you have the young folks that want to go buy, but they don't want to purchase at the current price. But home prices are not going to go down. But they think home prices are going to go down because there was a time in their life or their parents' life where home prices decreased. But we're just not going to see that. And I'm not so sure it's good for the economy for home prices to go down either. I don't think any of us want to see deflation. I know we want the price of stuff to be cheaper, but we don't want to see deflation because that's a whole nother bag of worms. That's not good. So I think we want to see just everything level out for a while and let incomes and everyone catch up, which I think we will see. So that was my prediction, is that everything would just kind of level off. This is a good point. Olivier, great point. Olivier says, I find it interesting the Republican is intervening so much in the market. Are they not more of a let the market manage itself? Yes, in most markets, but you use the leverage you can to make it more affordable for everyone. That's the goal. And if there are levers that were adjusted before you got there, you have to readjust those levers. Andy Rose said that's $700 to $1,000 in Metro Atlanta market, similar to the Florida Panhandle market as well. Christina Smallhorn, so you want a stagnant market for a while? Yeah, kind of. I would like for prices to kind of remain at that 2 to 3% per year increase that it has been for years and years and years. That's kind of what I want to see. A 2% inflation is good. 3% for housing is good. But it does make it hard if you bought a house last year to sell it this year. Or if you bought a house 2 or 3 years ago to sell it this year, it's tough. You may not get all the fees out, but the key is life is short. If you got to make a move, make a move. All right. And then 2 more articles. Home buying and selling activity shows signs of life amid lower mortgage rates. U.S. pending home sales fell 2.9% year over year during the 4 weeks ending January 18th, but it's the smallest overall. It's the smallest decline in over a month as mortgage rates decline. Mortgage purchase applications rose 5% and were at their highest level in 3 years. Listings followed a similar pattern. Pending sales, they dipped 1.6% for the year over year. It's the smallest decline in November. So the slight improvements in home buying demand and home listing is largely the result of falling mortgage rates. And if let's say the rates go down a lot, that's when you're going to have a big increase in prices. That's going to be tough because more buyers are going to be like, hey, rates are down, let's go buy. And the affordability is just going to continue. Affordability issues will continue. Mortgage demand drops 8.5% as interest rates swell. So this article came out today. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage conforming loan balance, $832,750 or less, including the origination. Okay, wait, hang on. It decreased to 6.24% from 6.16%, or increased to 6.24% from 6.16%. As a result, applications to refi dropped 16%, but remember they were like 138%. They're still 156% higher this week than the same week a year ago. That's really high. Applications to purchase a home were essentially flat. They're down 0.4% from a week earlier, but we're still 18% higher year over year. So we'll keep an eye on it. Andy Rose said Nashville and Florida Panhandle are a lot more active than normal since November. Looks to continue into February and March. Yeah, I really think the more you call and talk to people, all right, real estate agents out there, the more you call and talk to people, the more buyers that you're going to find. During the snow/icing that we had, while I was out, hanging out with the fam and doing the sledding and all that kind of stuff, which I posted about, by the way, you should go check that post. I did get a lot of questions from people that were sitting in their house looking at property. And I set up 2 showings for 2 buyers, and 2 other buyers that reached out were still kind of looking, but they asked me several questions about some houses that are already gone under contract. So I was doing nothing, and they reached out to me because of the marketing, advertising, the emails and everything that I had sent for years prior. So they're out there, but you have to make your calls. You have to reach out. So if you're not busy right now, the market is busy right now, but you have to be the one to actually doing the reach out and actually, put yourself out there. So it is a much busier January, February than I remember seeing in a long time. So make the calls, get yourself out there, and be sure to tune in next week. Next week is February. Wow, I can't believe it's already February. There's only 11 more months for you guys to hit all of your goals for the year. Oh, look at that. Christina says, I'm moving, and now I'll be on the other side of this. So I fear I'll be the buyer everyone hates. Yeah, buyers have a lot of choices right now, though, Christina. So hopefully you can make a lot, because you got tons of choices right now. Hopefully you'll hit it before the rates go down. If you can move by May. I think in May, when the new Fed guy is in, he's going to slash rates. And when he slashes rates, watch out. I think it's going to take off. So I think right now it's pretty smart, because as a buyer, you can get a great deal on a property. There's not a whole ton of people looking, but there are buyers out there. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining the show. Find me at Ray Zorback. That's RayZorback over on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. If you hate the show, there's no better way than to hate on the show live. So I'd recommend that you hit that bell, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things so that you can see it there. And thanks for all the Clubhouse contributors. Thanks for the discussion. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.